Are you tired of spending hours creating content from your podcasts, videos, or meetings? Well, Castmagic is an AI-powered tool that transforms any media file into over 100 content assets, such as blog posts, transcripts, social media posts, and more. Now, I have a love-hate relationship with this tool, so watch this Castmagic review to learn why. Now, if you are on the hunt for the best SaaS tools to grow your business, every week I compile the newest and best AppSumo deals I find and add them to this Notion doc. I also have other marketing software in this spreadsheet as well. Now, if you want free access to this, just click the link in my description. Now, if you just want to browse AppSumo instead, you can click on that second link in my description to check out my custom landing page. Now, this page has my favorite AppSumo deals you can purchase right now. We also included a list of my most popular YouTube videos that you can watch all right here in this single page. Now, Castmagic is back on AppSumo, but this time the deal is a little different because you can purchase either 1 year of access, 3 years of access, or lifetime access. Now, you do get all of the features listed out right here regardless of which tier you get. The only difference are the total number of minutes per month per workspace, the number of seats and workspaces. Now, I do find it a little odd how between tiers 1 and 3, you are only limited to 1 seat. But then if you go for tier 4 or higher, it jumps to unlimited. I wish they offered at least 2 to 3 seats for tier 3 and even for tier 1 and 2. And the same goes with workspaces as well. So you don't have any access to workspaces. I think just 1 workspace, which is, your main one. And then it jumps to 3 for tier 4. And what's also interesting is that even though you just have 1 seat between tiers 1 and 3, if you take a look at the bottom here, you have team features. So you can invite team members and collaborate, share recordings and pages, team member roles, and dark mode. So all the tiers have team features, but at the same time, you only have 1 seat. And when it comes to the minutes per month, so the way Castmagic works is that it takes your pillar content, so it could be a podcast, a video, and then it transforms that into hundreds of other pieces of content. So maybe your main content, your pillar piece might be, 30 minutes long, like a 30-minute video, podcast, meeting. So if you were to go for tier 1, then you would be working on like 3 pieces of content every single month. And if you were to go for tier 2, you would be able to work on about 10 pieces of content. And if you go for tier 3, you would be able to work on about 26 pieces of content per month if your main pillar content is, 30 minutes. Now, the highest tier is tier 5, and the only difference is the total number of workspaces that you have. So with tier 5, you have 6 workspaces, but the minutes are the same. They're 800. Now, when it comes to which tier you should get, I honestly think it's very hard to decide. I definitely would focus on lifetime access. I personally have tier 3, but it's hard because should you go for tier 3 or tier 4, where you can invite people into your account and you also have workspaces? But I would say if you are a solopreneur, a consultant working on your own projects, or a small list of clients, maybe tier 3 might be sufficient. But again, both of these 2 tiers, just the limits are quite different. So try to make your own judgment. And also keep in mind that this AppSumo deal is tied to all future hobby or starter plan updates. Okay, so at first glance, the UI of Castmagic looks very modern, looks very clean, and at first I was very excited to use this tool. But as you click around, things start to get a little confusing and you don't know exactly where you are or what you can or cannot click on. Thankfully, they do have this dark mode, which makes it, personally for me, a little bit more easy to analyze all of the buttons, the text, things like that. So I'm going to keep it at dark mode. So to use Castmagic, you need to feed it a long form piece of content. And each content lives in a space, okay? And you can create unlimited spaces. So you could think of a space as your own project, maybe a podcast, your own YouTube video, maybe a client, a business that you are working with. I'm not exactly sure what's the difference between spaces and a workspace. I think a workspace is basically a brand new instance of your Castmagic account. So right now I have 3 spaces. The iOS recordings that was automatically added into my account. So they do have an iOS app, but unfortunately they do not have an Android app. So you could basically use the iOS app, record your content on there, and it will be added to this space. I'm gonna go into this Think Media podcast space, and it's basically just this YouTube channel. And to test out the tool, I uploaded a couple of videos from this YouTube channel. Okay, so on the right-hand side, you can see under my Think Media podcast space, we are currently under the recordings section, and I have 2 videos here. So to upload media, you need to click on import audio or video, and here is where you can upload your audio. Now I'm not exactly sure why it says upload audio, but then right here it says drag and drop audio or video files here. So a little bit odd in terms of the wording, but these are all of the supported file types. Now you can also import from a URL. So YouTube, Vimeo, Reels, TikTok, Google Drive, Twitch, Reddit, Wistia, Rumble, and Loom. Now, if you want to import via a URL, you can add your YouTube link right here, for example, then click on submit. And it looks like, unfortunately, YouTube is blocking URL imports at this time. Okay, so you cannot upload a video via a URL, a YouTube video via a URL, unfortunately. You need to download it and then just drag and drop that file over here. You also can add an RSS feed. You can connect your Zapier and also Zoom. So after you upload your pillar content, your media, it then transcribes that content. So I'm going to upload this one right here. So 3 social media trends you need to know for 2025. So this is my video. And sometimes when I play the video in this transcript view, you can't hear it. So I'm going to refresh. Okay, now I'm going to click on play.
YouTube is rapidly changing.
Okay, now you could hear it. Now, as you play the video, you can see the exact words that the person is speaking, so you can follow along. Now, this video has 2 people. So this is Michael Stelzner, and then the other guy is Sean Cannell, I believe. So when Castmagic generates this transcript, it creates it in chunks, and it's divided by the speaker, okay?
Social media and YouTube is rapidly...
Now, I think the transcript is pretty good, but if you want to edit the transcript, click here, and then you can go in and, make any tweaks that you want. Then click on save. Now, when I originally uploaded this video, the AI actually got these 2 people mixed up. So if the AI doesn't know the name of the person, you can tell it who that person is. So if you click on this Sean Cannell, you can play a sample.
Social media and YouTube is...
And if that's the right person, great. You can add the speaker name right here, and then you can click on it, and then it will assign the name to this person, okay? Or if you want to change it to Michael Stelzner, you can click on that. And then now you could see it's changed.
Media and YouTube is rapidly changing.
Okay, let me play this one.
We are seeing more...
So it's not accurate because these 2 chunks are from the same person,
from strangers,
but it doesn't know to change the other ones, unfortunately. I'm not sure if that's how it's supposed to be or if it's a bug, but let me go back in here and then click on Sean. Okay, and then you can also click on speakers and then click into one person, then match speaker A. You can add a speaker name. Change speaker A. Leaving this option unchecked will only change the selected speaker for this section. So it actually took me a good 10-20 minutes to kind of figure this whole thing out. I didn't know I could select either of these 2 people, but you can select it and then the AI will kind of update the transcript with the correct name that you selected.
I'm here to tell you that I think...
Now, as you scroll down, you could see a kind of preview pop-up video that shows up here. I think this is pretty cool, but sometimes it does get in the way, so I just like to kind of exit out of it. And so from here, you can highlight some text. Say, for example, maybe these first few sentences. You can copy it, you can clip it. Now I'm going to click on clip, and then you could save this video snippet. And here is that video. Let me quickly play it for you.
Social media and YouTube is...
And it's a 14-second snippet. You can also turn this into an audiogram, image, or captions. So I'm going to click on audiogram, and then it takes you to this studio view. So it says click to play preview. I'm going to click.
Social media and YouTube is rapidly changing. Are you prepared?
All right, so you can choose between these various dimensions here, maybe the 9:16. You can also change the background color. And there's only 4 options here. And for the text, you can update this title here to anything you want. You can toggle on or off the watermark. And this is where you can drag
social media and YouTube is rapidly
what parts
changing. Are you
let me unclick. Okay, so you could choose how long you want the audiogram to be, and then you can export it. Unfortunately, there are no other designs. It's basically just this. Now, aside from audiogram, you can select text, and it's basically like an image. So you can choose a different dimension, different color, and also the text as well, and export it. And if your video does not have captions, you can have captions for this clip. Now click to play preview. Okay, so it's not playing. So exports use subject detection. So the final output might look different from the preview. So I cannot click to play preview. Okay.
These numbers now, followers, subscribers, are
social media and YouTube.
Okay, so you can change the length, the color of the text, and the dimensions. And this is the studio, okay? Now, I want to exit, but you can't exit. I try to click escape. I can't escape, but on the very top right-hand corner, there's this tiny X. So I'm gonna exit that, and now I'm out of the studio. So it took me a while to figure out there was an X there. So yeah, now we are out of the studio. And at the bottom here, there's this handy player. So you can click to toggle on that mini video, play it, increase the speed if you want. And then this blue button just scrolls up. And then this one, it looks like a button, but I don't think this is a button. So basically when you play it.
In today's episode of the Think Media podcast, we're gonna be talking about 3
they see every day, and they're looking for.
So you can see that. So it's basically whatever part of the transcript you're on, the speaker's name will change. So that's what it is. It looks like a button, but it's not a button. So very odd. The UI is, it looks nice, but it's kind of hard to use. And then you can also exclude parts of the transcript that you don't want to turn into additional content. All right. This is the unique selling proposition of the tool, the main part of the tool. Okay, so from your long form piece of content, you can create mini or additional content types. So click on create content. So from that long form video, Castmagic will create titles, YouTube keywords, YouTube descriptions, timestamp overview, newsletter, YouTube to tweets, questions, and threads. So this is where the power of Castmagic comes into play. Okay, so we can toggle this open, and here are some title variations for the podcast episode. So these are various titles that you can use. These are some YouTube keywords. Let me check the email newsletter. So it gives you a subject line, the email body, call to action, so on and so forth. So now you don't need another tool. You don't need to log into ChatGPT to create all of these pieces of content. Castmagic does all of this for you all at once. Now, as you see here, these are preset prompts. So these prompts are already added for you. I didn't create these prompts, okay? But you can create a custom prompt. So if you click on new custom prompt, you can name the custom prompt and then add your prompt here. So I'm gonna say create a short Facebook post promoting this video and provide a content sample. I'm just gonna say check out this YouTube video, then click on save custom prompt, and now it's generating. All right, so let me scroll down, and here we go. So Facebook post, check out this YouTube video. Are you ready for the future of social media? So on and so forth, okay? We can also modify this. If you click on modify, we can make it longer, shorter, make it more casual, serious, or rerun the original prompt. We can copy it. And say, for example, we want to make it more casual. Let's try that out. Now it's generating, as you could see here. Also keep in mind the icons and the text. Personally, I think it's pretty small, so you kind of need to squint and really look to see what you are reading and looking at. So this is the second generation, and then you can, go to the previous one by clicking on this arrow. And then you can also format it as well, making it into an H1 to making it bold, italicized, so on and so forth. Now for these preset prompts, if you click, these look like buttons, so I'm going to click on preset prompt. And then on the left hand side, you could see we are now in prompts. So these are all of the prompts for my Think Media podcast space. Okay, so I didn't think it would go into the prompts view, but it did. Let me go back. Okay, so now we are back here. So yeah, if you click on preset prompt, it just takes you to the prompts section. And you could do more of like a free form piece of content as well. So if you write down what kind of content you want to create, if you click there, you can see here, press any of the following examples to make a draft from it. So lessons learned, key themes, blog posts, 3 fun facts. So these are the popular ones. These are from the community. These are all caption related, so on and so forth. Let's do popular and say maybe 3 fun facts. Okay, so now it is generating. Okay, here we go. So list up to 3 fun facts that were revealed in this recording. So this is the prompt, and these are the 3 fun facts. You can add to pipeline, save it, regenerate it, copy it, or delete it. Now, speaking of pipelines, that's the next part. I'm going to click on add to pipeline. So a pipeline is your step-by-step process, maybe like an SOP, but something that you follow for every pillar of content. Okay, so we need to add a block title. I'm just going to say 3 fun facts. Now for this piece of content, you can categorize it as an idea, draft, canceled, or published. You can assign it to someone in your team. You can set a date. Now, unfortunately, I cannot click, but I can type in the date. Before, I was able to toggle on the calendar, but it's not working now. And for the labels, you can choose a different label. Now I can't click on the label, so that is a bug, so keep that in mind. Okay, so I'm gonna click on add to pipeline. Okay, so a new block was added to your content pipeline. Now let's go to pipeline. So these are the content pieces in my pipeline. Now I'm still trying to get a grasp of this. So these are the content pieces. So we just added the 3 fun facts, and it's an idea. So if we click on here, this is where we can work with our team, okay? So you can add a comment here, work on this next week, something like that. And there is my comment. And then we can work on this text, right? So maybe delete certain things, format it however you want to, so on and so forth, and also enhance it with AI. And on the right-hand side, we can see the status is an idea, who it's assigned to, when it's scheduled for. Let's try to add a label here. Okay, now it's working now. And then the recording. So this is the long form piece of content. Now this tool is great for teams, right? Because you can work with your team and workshop all of these pieces of content. But unfortunately, if you choose between tier 1 through 3, it's only one person. So you could basically just work by yourself. So you would need to go for a higher tier to really use this for your team. Now on the top right, you can see it says team only, but you can do share for viewing, share for commenting, share for editing. So for commenting and editing, anyone with a Castmagic account can work on these. But for viewing, anyone with the link can view. So for these 2 here, I'm not sure if you need to be a paying Castmagic customer to comment and edit if you share this content block with someone. But I did share for editing for a different content block. So this is my other account that I just created. So we can see here now, I didn't pay for this specific account. So under my spaces, there's no other spaces here, but join spaces. So we can see here under Think Media podcast space, under recordings, I can click into here and I can view the transcript, create content section, pipeline, so on and so forth. So this is with my second account. Now, I'm not sure if I need to be a paying customer to use this forever, or I can use it because I was invited, but this is how it looks like, okay? So if you share it with someone else with a Castmagic account, this is what they will see on their end. Okay, so now I am back in my own account. Okay, so now we are in content pipeline. So these are the different statuses. So draft, idea, and then you can see what pillar content it's tied to. There's different pills here. So the red is what it's tied to, but then this other pill is what it's not tied to, the YouTube description. So it's kind of hard to kind of consume all of this information. It does take you a while to figure out what all of this means. So just be patient. But for whatever reason, I'm in this content pipeline, but I want to go back to, I guess I need to go to, okay, recordings, and then go back here, and then go back to pipeline. Okay, now I'm in this pipeline view. Now let's go to Magic Chat. So this is kind of like ChatGPT, all right? So here are some examples you can try. So create lessons learned, key themes. Note that there are some things I'm not very good at, like timestamp requests and pulling quotes. So this is something that I generated earlier, but we can ask it anything we want, like maybe mention one interesting fact, and let's see what it generates. Okay, so here we go. One interesting fact from the transcript is that the social media landscape is rapidly changing, so on and so forth. And then you can add this to a pipeline, save this as a prompt, regenerate it, copy it, or delete it. And then the last part is the studio, which we just went over. And from this view as well, you can share it, and you have a few options here. So you can invite to collaborate. So this is what I did. I added another email, and you can invite that person to collaborate, and you can choose between a member or an admin. So I chose member. So now I am able to collaborate with, I guess, this space and now this space as well. So this is, I guess, the member view for that other person that you are inviting. And you can also share this recording so anyone on the web can view it. You can also embed this on your website. Now, I think this share is pretty helpful. Let me show you how that looks like. So this is how it looks like when you share it publicly, okay? So anyone can access this. So you can give this to anyone in your team, maybe to a client if you're working with them on creating additional content, right? So this is the transcript, AI content. So these are all of the content pieces that Castmagic created. So you can share this with anyone, and then they could do whatever they want with it. There's also Magic Chat as well. Let's click on maybe key themes. And okay, so it says list 7 key themes. Okay, yep. So here it goes. So I'm not logged in or anything. So it looks like you could use the AI regardless of whether or not you have an account, which is very powerful, right? So really great lead magnet as well. So it's nice to see that. Okay, so let me exit this. Next is pages. So this one allows you to use up to 5 recordings to draft long-form editable content. So I'm going to click on new page, and for context, we need to add a recording. So I'm going to put the 2 recordings here and generate image, output style, standard or long form. Let's do long form article. And for prompt, I'm going to say write a blog post, okay? And then click on generate, and it says your page is generating. This could take a minute. So the power of this pages feature is that it combines multiple content pillars, right? So you can add multiple videos versus if you go to the recordings earlier, you basically create pieces of content from one long form, but with pages, you could create pieces of content for multiple long form media types. All right, so it took about 2 to 3 minutes, and this is our blog article. How to grow your YouTube channel, insights and strategies for 2025. And the context is from the 2 recordings here, okay? You can also create a public link to this page. Let me click on these 3 dots. Oh, it's the same. Okay, so kind of weird. Yeah, so this is the little pop-up. And then this is the blog article, okay? Not too bad, it reads pretty well. And if you highlight certain parts, it doesn't look like you can change anything We can type, but we can't make anything bold. I'm right-clicking. Yep, nothing. So what you see is what you get. All right, you can't really make any tweaks to this piece of content, unfortunately. But this is one page, and you can share this page with anyone. Let me show you how that looks like. And this is the page, right? So it's basically what it is, a page. So this is the blog article. You can share it, and the domain is from Castmagic, and then unfortunately the logo is Castmagic, register, sign in, but this is how the page looks like. Okay, so for this space, there's also speakers. So as you could see here, Castmagic is very good for pieces of content that has multiple people in it. So great for meetings, great for podcasts. But when it comes to media from like from one person, it's not as beneficial. So if I go to my recordings, this second one, so this one, it's just Sean speaking throughout the whole video, no other person. So you could see it's just Sean here in terms of the transcript. So Castmagic, it's great for multiple people. Of course, if it's just one person, you could still, create content, create a pipeline, so on and so forth. But, it's kind of meant for managing multiple speakers. And then for the settings for this space, we could view the prompts, which I showed you earlier, and also the team. So teams within this space and the workflow. So this one, I'm trying to still figure out how to read it. So statuses allow you to categorize content and track its progress through the workflow. So for backlog, I don't know if idea is under backlog. I think you could drag, but you can't drag. You could edit this idea, name it, something like something else. You can click on this plus, new status, working, and make it red, change the icon, save state. Okay, so we could create statuses under these backlog, to do, in progress, done, or canceled. Okay, so that's kind of like how it works. And you could check out labels here. Okay, so it's blocks. So these are blocks, and I cannot drag, but edit this label. We can also add additional labels. So this is how you build out your workflow. So it does take a little while to figure this whole thing out. Now let's go to content pipeline. So this is, content pipeline that you saw before. This is where you can manage all of those pieces of content, so you can get them published and also monitor where everything is. You can see the tasks or content pieces that are assigned to me, upcoming ones, things that are completed, and things that are canceled. So this is really great for teams, okay? But unfortunately, if you get tiers 1 through 3, you can't invite anyone else to your team. From my understanding, right? You need to get a higher tier unless you invite them into your space, and they could still work on it even though they are a free customer. Not exactly sure, but this is very geared towards working with a team. And when it comes to spaces, so I just showed you the YouTube style space, but if you click on this tiny little plus icon, there's other spaces that you can create. Okay, so let me show you. I'm just going to say podcast. You can choose a label type. So label your recordings by number, by episode, freeform, or none. Maybe let's just do season with episode number. You can choose from a variety of languages here. I'm going to just keep it at English, and you can include spelling suggestions for the AI, separate words by commas, and context prompt. So an additional prompt that will be injected into Castmagic's AI. You can chunk the transcripts. You can set automatic speaker labeling. So this is my space. Click on save space. And here is where we can select a content profile. So the one I was using earlier was the YouTube content profile, but there's other ones as well. So each profile will have their own content pieces, all right? So you can choose from any of these. You could do an empty one, and you could see exactly what you will get for each of these profiles. So for the YouTube, we saw, right, like titles, descriptions, YouTube keywords, so on and so forth. But for podcast, these are what you will get, all right? Now I'm going to click on continue with podcast, and it looks like we can invite existing members. So you can invite as an admin or as a member. Let me do admin. Okay, so that person is invited. It's funny, I could still click on it, but nothing happens. There's no OK button or exit. I guess I just exit. Okay, so that's that. And here we are on a blank slate. Okay, so this is podcast here. So this is my podcast space. And you start by uploading your first recording. So import audio or video, and you follow the same process like what I showed you in the beginning of this video. Now let's talk about my pros and cons of Castmagic. Now, I really like how you can very quickly create recurring content. All right, so the AI works pretty quickly in generating those titles, blog articles, so on and so forth. So you can have tons of content to amplify your long form piece, or maybe to better understand maybe a meeting that you have with your team. Again, you can connect your Zoom and then create content from the meeting that you have with your employees, for example, and it does it very, very quickly. I like how there's fast and accurate transcriptions. The transcriptions are really nice, and you get unlimited spaces, which could mean unlimited projects and clients. So, one space could be a client that you work on creating content for them. And in terms of the cons, the UI UX needs improvement. I don't know what is a button. Sometimes the text is too small. I also sometimes don't know where I am in the tool. Like you click something and then it takes you to, the pages or speakers section, and you need to kind of figure out how to go back. And it's limited to only one seat for tiers 1 through 3. Then it jumps to unlimited on tier 4. So very odd in terms of how the deal is structured here. And team features are included across all tiers, but you only get one seat. So it's a little odd. And there are no workspaces for tiers 1 through 3, but there are spaces. So I want to figure out what's the difference between a space and a workspace. And I really think this is ideal for content that has more than one person in it. And there is no Android app. Now, in terms of my final verdict, so what I think is, should you get this? Yes, maybe, or no? I say yes. So while I have a love-hate relationship with this tool, I think it's a very unique tool that you can easily use to amplify your pillar content. And I think this is great for teams to work together, although you do need to get tier 4 or higher to invite people from your company. But I still think this is still valuable for solopreneurs who want to use AI to generate additional content from one long form piece without using another tool. So this is like an all-in-one tool to generate content from one long form piece. So my final verdict is yes for Castmagic. Now, if you want to grab my must-have SaaS tools for digital entrepreneurs Notion checklist, click the link in my description or click this link right here to grab it. And if you want to check out my next video, click on this one right over here. So if you enjoyed this video, let me know by smashing that like button and also subscribing to my channel. And if you have any questions, just leave them in the comments below. Thanks.